Hey everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful week. I know I sure have been. We are in week 2. Tomorrow marks the start of week 3. I'm really enjoying the stuff that you guys are submitting and the discussion on discussion board. Like I said earlier in the week when I posted an announcement, I postponed doing this video to allow more time for you guys to respond to each other's discussion board posts. Um, I don't know how it works in other online classes. I just know that doing it this way keeps us more real time and makes it more like a live course, which is optimal in my mind for content like this. This isn't algebra where x plus y equals z. It's constantly growing and changing, and truly, if you guys will engage this and get your discussion board original posts in by Wednesday. I've not done any penalties on scores up till now, but after this week, it's going to start happening because discussion board is such an important part of this class and really all the classes that I teach, because a lot of the wisdom and ideas and strokes of brilliance and God ideas come from you guys, not always from the talking head up here, me. So please get that in, and be sure, by getting it in on Wednesday, it gives your classmates time to respond and interact with each other. And some of the dialogues that you guys have been pulling out have been great. They're really engaging and great to read and to be a part of. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of my favorite things from this week. Backing up to just a little bit, a few of the core value things that we turned in during week 1. I didn't remember to talk about that stuff in last week's little blog. So I'm going to read just a couple things off of that I noted. Amanda put in hers that having a budget was one of the hills she's willing to die on, so to speak, one of her core values, and I could not agree with that more. If you want to know where a person's heart is, look at their calendar and look at their checkbook. So if a church is willing to hire you and wants to bring you in as the children's pastor there, they better be willing to give you a budget with which to work, because as we all know, offerings in kids' church often have bubblegum wrappers in them, and children's ministry never supports itself. But the end result and the dollars and cents add up greatly in our favor in a kingdom sense. One of the things that I like so much that Grace put toward the end of her core values, which were very comprehensive and very well done, good job, Grace, was that her core values have room to grow throughout this course and probably future courses. And I think that that's an excellent point to be made. And that's really why I do the core value at the very beginning, so you guys can look back and see what you understood about children's ministry at the beginning of this course and what you kind of understand toward the end. Because hopefully, if I'm doing my job right and you guys are engaging each other, those things will shift and grow and change. And Paula brought up something very interesting in her core value assignment, which was it was important to her that leaders of the church come in from time to time, a couple times throughout the year, to see what's going on with the children. And I think that's an excellent point. I haven't really seen that brought up in any of the assignments, not just in this class, but in previous semesters that this has been taught. And I think that's brilliant. To me, one of the big cautions and red flags, whoop, whoop, that should go off in your head is if you are on staff somewhere working with the children and the leaders never ask or really seem to care one way or another what you're doing with the kids. That should raise giant red flags that perhaps they don't understand the value of what's going on in there and how critical it is that what you're giving them is biblical and meets the vision of the church and is lining up with the theology and the pneumatology of the church. So good point, Paula. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's see. What minister? Okay, let's talk about a little bit about what you guys talked with the discussion board from Barna this week. Norman and a couple of you guys talked about how important it is to minister to kids that are being bussed in, and I could not agree more. Absolutely, we need to pour into those kids. I'm sure we all have stories of radical change within the little children's hearts who come and make it one way or another faithfully to church, whether their parents are there or not. But that audience is not the one that Barna is talking about throughout this book. Barna is speaking specifically about and to families where the parents are faithfully attending. So bear that in mind as you read this book. I kind of thought it was clear in the text, but this isn't the first time this topic has come up in this particular discussion. We've talked about the same thing in other classes, that students confuse how we minister to kids whose parents don't come with what Barna is really talking about in terms of the church enabling a disconnect between parents and children by that drop off, or some people call it a helicopter type parenting. Just come in, drop them off, come back, pick them back up. Let's see, what else? Shane had some interesting things to say and some really good and practical ideas on connecting parents. That maybe on Wednesday nights running a parallel parenting class along in the same time frame that the students, that the kids are in, Rural Rangers, Missionettes, Awana, whatever is the midweek service. And I think that's excellent. And it's a great time where parents are already focused on their kids. They're bringing them, they've got them there. They've been at school all day. One of the things that I found that can be a sticking point is calling it a parenting class. I think parents get kind of a little afraid that by going into parenting class, they're going to find out what bad parents they are and how they're messing it all up. And it kind of throws walls up, so to speak, of defense. So, making sure that parents understand that whatever it is you're going to offer for them on Wednesday nights isn't to, critique their parenting skills, but more to guide them and equip them to spiritually lead their own children, I think is very key. Shane also brought up homework for kids, and sorry, my son just distracted me. He's outside with the dog. And Nicole brought up a junior Bible quiz, that something like that really helps get parents involved. I love all of those ideas. I think that they're all very prolific and have a lot of potential. The main point here is we've got to get parents involved. Absolutely have to. There's just no ifs, ands, buts, or ways around it, which leads us into the bulk of what we're going to be doing next week. As I've designed courses for Southeastern, woven all through them, whether it's the Evangelizing and Discipling course or the Intergenerational Family Ministry course, is a constant feed of how do we engage parents in whatever it is we're doing, whether it's outreaches or Sunday school classes or, in-house stuff. How do we get parents to plug in and get connected? So that's a big chunk of what we're going to talk about. As a matter of fact, I have something to show you. This right here, this gigungous, overwhelming book with tiny little print. I don't even know how many pages is in here, but I'll promise you I read through every one of them no less than 4 times. This is it's about 2/3 of the research I did for my thesis in grad school. And my thesis was called Churches and Parents, Collaborating, Coexisting, or Conflicting. And that giant hunk of stuff I just showed you, I'd say 70% of it has to do with the parental influence on a child's spirituality. The research is overwhelming. It is abundantly clear, not only from a secular standpoint, when some of these were secular journals that I pulled this out of, and they were talking about, parents' influence on a child's spirituality. But from a biblical standpoint, parents are absolutely where the buck stops. And we've got to, as the church, find ways to come alongside, equip, and empower them, give that mantle back so that they can be the spiritual leaders God is calling them to be. So there's that angle on things. And then we're also going to talk some about object lessons. One of my favorite topics. I love object lessons. So much fun. Anyway, I hope you guys are having an outstanding week. Please feel free to call me, contact me any which way you'd like. I think this video is probably going to be really teeny because I haven't figured out how to get it to be large size on your screens, but I will get to work on that soon. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Look forward to hearing from you. Get your discussion board things in so we can all learn from each other and enjoy what each other's putting up there. Have a great week. Bye.